Infertility affects 1 in 10 American families, and 25% of them have more than one reason why getting pregnant is difficult.
Scientists in Japan, though, just made a really big discovery that could help some of those families. And joining us around the table right now, Dr. Sabrina Fabi, with what they found out. Tell us what this discovery is all about.
Well, this is fascinating, and it doesn't apply to people or couples that are having problems with having babies, but also just in the field of stem cells and regenerative medicine. What these scientists did, where they drew blood from humans, and from these red blood cells, they were able to extract basically some stem cells, because we have stem cells all over our bodies, in our bone marrow, in our skin, in our fat, but we also have some in our blood. And we covered that last week, where people were injecting blood into their face, right, with the thought that you can maybe get newer skin. Well, here they isolated those red blood cells, called peripheral red blood cell stem cells, and then they essentially were able to put them into these little artificial ovaries, mouse ovaries, to convert them into potentially very premature actual eggs.
Wow, and then so the idea would be you take the eggs and then you fertilize them and then
you have an embryo, exactly.
Okay, so does this, I have lots of questions about the science, but you kind of wonder, is this crossing a line a little bit, or right along the line here of this sort of, remember we've had the conversation before about like the idea of a designer baby, like where do you say science has maybe gone too far?
I know, I agree. I mean, we have to remember that even in vitro fertilization once, which now has given many women and couples, babies and the ability to have babies into their 40s, was once also considered crossing the line. So we've always been dancing with this, but there's a lot of potential. I always like to focus on the potential of what this means for us, because there are many couples that want to have children in their 40s and they can't. Many same-sex couples that want to have babies that are fully both their genetics, and they have to maybe have an egg or donor egg to have that happen. And so now potentially withdrawing blood from yourself, you can take that, make it into a potential egg, and not even just the potential of having that become a baby, but not maybe even having to carry the baby anymore. Now I know that's crossing the line, but there are a lot, like to the point you made, a lot of people that have infertility issues. It's not just because they don't have the egg reservoir anymore, because that comes with age, but they physically can't carry the baby because of health issues. And now the thought is that maybe you could even have the baby at the lab.
Wow.
Talk to us about a timeline. How soon could this happen, and what's next in the process here when it comes to this discovery and the science of it?
Well, this is a huge step, but we're not even close. So this was a very, very premature egg. They call it an oogonia. So it's not even a mature egg that could potentially even be fertilized yet, right? And so now the next steps are to actually implant it into an artificial human ovary, because this was an artificial mouse ovary. The thought being that if you put it in that, then we have more chances of it advancing into a mature egg. And then there's going to be a lot of regulation issues. To your point, Jen, people are going to possibly be concerned every time they draw their blood. Could they be taking that and making babies with it? But with that also comes the possibility that maybe people that are afflicted with genetic diseases can test that well in advance before getting pregnant to find out that there's a genetic mutation. So there's both promise and of course concern.
Yeah, well that's always the cool thing to have you around the table talking about sort of the cutting edge of science, like where are we, what's happening in all the discoveries. Sabrina, thanks for being here.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having me.
Thank you.